beautiful soul. Welcome to the Quantum Business Queen podcast. This podcast is a vortex for activating wealth, riches, and boss bitches. It is here that I teach multi-dimensional business. Our content will fall under 3 different categories: 5D quantum creation, 4D frequency alchemy, and the most potent 3D strategy. Every aspect of business that contributes to the creation of success is covered here. Plus, I will be personally interviewing the most amazing boss bitches that are at the forefront of the game, paving the way for money, magic, and magnetism in business. Let's get ready to activate all of that within you. Hello, amazing human. Welcome to this week's episode of the Quantum Business Queen podcast. I am once again so excited to be bringing these topics to you. You know, I really make a conscious effort to not put crap out there in terms of, I don't just, it's not like I need to create another episode because I was meant to release an episode. I literally dive deep into what is happening, what is unfolding, and the most potent things I can bring through for you that will create a shift. And today I want to talk about something that's really important. And it's, I think, something everybody's going through. It's the beginning of 2025. And I think it's a really important awareness that we all need to have when up-leveling or stepping into the new, more abundant timeline and all these things everyone's preaching right now. And I think, we really need to look at our standards. And the reason why standards are actually really hard to shift. And it comes with a deep wounding, which creates attachment, a fierce attachment in our system. And so I want to talk about 2 things today. I want to talk about standards and I want to talk about attachment. And the first is attachment. Attachment is, it can be a double-edged sword, and we are so attached to things and circumstances and people and ways of being and storylines and all of the things. Attachments are the thing that keeps perpetuation going in our cycle, in our reality, in our experiences. And if we do not have a regulated nervous system, detachment seems almost impossible. And what do I mean by detachment? Being able to let go, being able to release, being able to shift. It requires detachment. When you can access a place of detachment, meaning you are neutral, you don't need something to go this way or that way, you're just totally detached. This is where you become hyper magnetic. This is where you start accessing magic in the universe. And, this is something I talk about a lot in the Deep Undoing. And the way I am shifting this year is really, really powerful. I really feel like I have an edge when it comes to speaking about deliberate creation and manifestation because of everything I've been through all the ups, all the downs. And let me tell you, 2024 is probably one of the biggest roller coaster rides I have ever been on in a lot of different ways, but it's giving me so much magic and so many golden nuggets that I can pour into you. And, it's really, really interesting. One of the things I'm really navigating now is how I compare the up-leveling of my standards. But what comes with that is you're required to detach. You're required to detach. So with that, I have to do a lot of nervous system work. Everything, I'm a single woman now, I live on my own. Not only that, but I run my own show. I run my own business. Everything's on my shoulders. So it feels, to have a regulated nervous system is crucial. And when you're in a place as a female where things might not feel fully secure or a lot rests on your shoulders, what you don't realize you do is you grasp onto familiarity because that familiarity creates regulation. However, familiarity, even if it's good or bad or whatever else, it's familiar. It doesn't allow you to detach because you want to hold on to what you know. And if you cannot detach, you're not able to reach for higher standards. So I always say this, the universe meets you at your lowest standard ever. The lowest standard you set for yourself is where the universe meets you. So So this is really important. In order to shift your reality, in order to shift what you experience, in order to shift your money story, your business story, all of it, you must shift your standards. And, everyone in personal development talks about this, and it's a great concept, right? But I don't talk about concepts. I like to dive deep into the programming around everything I talk about because it needs to be dissected, right? Concepts don't help shift. It's understanding the programming that helps shift. And the programming is what the trap is. And to understand the trap, you must dismantle it piece by piece. As I say, the result from this is freedom. So your reality is an accumulation of what your standards have been up until this point. Now, the problem with this is everyone's like, oh, just raise your standards. That's great, right? That's great in quote unquote theory. However, if you have a dysregulated nervous system, your standards is what is familiar. And if it is familiar, it is safe. And if your nervous system is dysregulated, you will not be able to let go of the old standards in order to shift up and up level into the new. So when it comes to raising your standards, it's actually directly linked to, are you regulated in your nervous system? Once you can feel safe, then you can start releasing. Once you start releasing, then you have this open sort of abyss for all of the newness that is available. And this is where you get to choose. But if your grid is too full and it's just pulsating everything that you've known, everything that's familiar, everything that makes you feel okay, but it's just the things that have kept you stuck, you'll never change. There's never any room for newness. So what we must understand is that we are trying to release ourselves from a reality that we are currently in that our previous standards have created, which is where detachment is required for evolution. So you are living in a reality that your previous standards have created, and this is familiar, and your nervous system loves familiarity, right? So you have to get yourself so sturdy internally with your nervous system that you can then start upping every standard you have in your reality. Love standards, friendship standards, food standards, how you feel in your body, business standards, all of it, clients, all of it. You uphold your standards. It is law, universal law, that your reality has to shift. But the problem with that is that we're too afraid to detach from our current reality. Our current reality is an accumulation of our lowest standards, because that's where the universe will always meet us. So step 1, get your nervous system regulated. If being outside your comfort zone, it just is too dysregulating for you, get some somatic work under your belt. Are you present during the day? I've just realized, like last year, I was so out of my body and so disconnected and so not present because everything felt so unsafe. I was making some massive decisions, changing my whole reality, but not doing the work to keep myself regulated in the meantime. And so that's why it was a roller coaster. I'd shoot way up and then I need to pull myself way back down because my nervous system was like, no, this is way too scary. So if you want to keep a sustainable rise in your creation and in your reality, manifest, and as you do, co-create with the nervous system regulation. Don't bulldoze yourself like what I did, right? Don't say it's going to be okay, I'm going to figure it out, and then crash later. If you want to meet your reality at a higher timeline, you need to raise your standards. If you want to raise your standards, you need to get comfortable with detaching from your previous standards. If you want to detach from your previous standards, you need to have a regulated nervous system, because your conscious mind or your subconscious mind, your higher self, your soul knows that once you start upping your standards, your whole reality is going to change in a really, really powerful way. And it's uncomfortable. But as Glennon Doyle, I love my women, empowered women. As Glennon Doyle states, you will only live to the degree that you're willing to be annihilated. So annihilating the lower standards is annihilating part of your old identity that created those standards in the first place. And so a lot that will come with that is the unknown. Really, really powerful. Really powerful. So it's a 3-step process, in my opinion. It is like really getting reacquainted with your nervous system, doing daily work on it, like really deeply feeling into your body, getting into breath work, like feeling into the tightness in your muscles and what are the stories behind everything that's been stored in there. I've been spending hours every night doing this, and I cannot tell you how liberating it is for my energy. All the awarenesses that are there, like profound awarenesses, all the healing that I'm diving into. I know my next level in my business is not from what I do. It's what I undo. It's what I get to undo. And it's all the fear I'm undoing. It's all the density I'm undoing. It's all the worry I'm undoing. It's all the attachment that I'm undoing that is shifting me to a higher level. And with that shift to a higher level comes new standards, new identities, new timelines, and a new way of being. So, beautiful soul. I hope this has really served. When people talk about, raise your standards, like get yourself out there. But if it feels too scary, it's because it's not safe. You're not bringing your nervous system along for the ride. You need to bring your nervous system along for the ride, because if you don't, your subconscious mind will sabotage you, because it will need to yank you back to earth quicker than you can say boo, because it feels so unsafe. But the nervous system, you have to think of it, it's like a consciousness, right? And if you think of a consciousness that's a human being, and if you ignore that human being, if you suppress that human being, if you say, I'm not going to pay attention to you, or I'm not going to care about how you feel about this, what do you think will happen? It's going to dig its heels into the sand. When I say it, I mean your nervous system is going to dig its heels into the sand until you pay attention to it and you take it along for the ride and you co-create with it. Because when you do that, that consciousness that is your nervous system will feel safe. It will trust you because you're acknowledging it. You're hearing it out. You're listening to its cues and what it has to say and the lessons that have been stored in there so it can be transmuted. So if you really want to get into what is available for you in 2025, like I said, it's not going to be about what you do. It's all about what you undo. This is a perfect segue to pitch my deep undoing, which is one of the most insane journeys I've ever downloaded. It is so powerful. If you do want access to the recordings, it is $500 USD, guys. It's a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer. It's honestly, it's the most powerful things that are keeping you separate from the timelines that are available to you. And it's never an approach to manifestation, or it's not an approach to manifestation that anyone has ever spoken about the way I speak about it, because it's all been downloads from a place that I can't even explain where it came from. I learned from being the vessel by which that knowledge comes through. So I feel like an honor to have facilitated that whole journey. But you got this. Like, you really got this. If you want your world to change, you got to clean up those energetic leaks. You got to be cutthroat with it, and you got to raise your standards, but take your nervous system on the journey with you. Don't do what I do, which is like little Miss Numb avoidant, which works so well until it doesn't, until your body starts screaming at you, until you've hit a glass ceiling, you've hit a plateau. You got to go deep and you got to undo. All right, beautiful soul, I'm going to leave you with this for today. I hope this has hit where it needed to, and I am here. If you need anything, I'm here. Please reach out. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Be standing by, because everything's about to go to the next level for me. I am working deep within myself internally, and I'm also working with a lot of other people to up-level my graphics and messaging, and it's going to really be a powerful 2025. Only because I'm doing the work, like the deep, deep, deep work that is required. And I'm fucking excited. I'm excited to finally feel like I have space where it's safe to really go in deep. I am sending you so much love, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode. I'll see you on Wednesday. And if you need me, I'm here. Thank you so much for listening today, beautiful soul. I hope you got so much gold and were activated in such a way that you could step into your highest timeline of abundance and freedom, because it is more than possible for you. If that desire has been planted in your soul, it is so deliberate. If you wouldn't mind, please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast so that we can get this message into the hearts and ears of more amazing light beings across the world. I would love to continue this conversation with you, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram at sarah.tynan.quantumcoach. If you're a Facebook person, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Sarah Tynan International. And please don't ever forget, if your desire is there, it's because your destiny is there too. You just have to remember who you are. Bye for now, beautiful.